Hello, and thanks for joining us for Legal Tech Q&A number 3. In this episode, we will be discussing the interview process for candidates during COVID-19.
So, David, I have another question for you. This
Okay.
one is about the interviewing process during COVID-19, during this pandemic.
Right.
I've read a lot of articles that say one thing and say another. I'm beginning to think no one really knows. What has been your experience with where are interviews taking place? Are they all online? Are some taking place in an actual office? What are people doing?
That's a great question. And you are right. Nobody knows what's going on. That's the short answer. But just to kind of make a little bit of sense out of it, I work with a lot of different companies. Some of them have always had remote setups. Some of them are always, having people work out of brick and mortar offices. But everyone now is having to come up with a solution that allows at least most of their staff to work remotely. So with respect to the interview process, just about every situation is different. Depends where you live, where the office is. Different states have different level of restrictions, lockdowns. So you just kind of have to know what's going on in your location, as well as the location where the actual interviewers or hiring manager's office is located. And it's a constantly evolving situation. So just kind of got to roll with the punches. Some employers have actually switched to a completely remote hiring process, the interview process, the onboarding, everything. I've got one of my clients is a court reporting company. They had never done that before. They'd never hired anyone without meeting them and never hired anyone outside of their local region, which is on the East Coast. And I just placed someone to work remotely from their home out in Santa Monica. Never met in person, and that person is doing phenomenally well. So, it can be done, and it can be a win-win for everyone. And some employers are actually doing interviews in person. I've noticed that if they really want to meet someone and the person applying for the position may have some hesitation or concern, some of the hiring managers are actually flying to the location of the candidate, which is a big change from what you would normally see. But, it's a little easier to just ask someone to go down the street to a coffee shop and sit outside rather than get on a plane and go through all of that. So, and we're also seeing some companies that are just kind of doing things normally. They do a couple phone interviews and then they bring people in, and of course social distance, but meeting in the office. So that's basically it. Nobody knows what's going on, but it looks like we're seeing more people starting to work in offices and starting to have interviews. So things are getting back to normal as people get vaccinated. And at the end of the day, you just got to take every situation differently and go through the process and hope you get the job.
Sounds great, David. So be prepared for anything.
Exactly.
Thanks for joining us, and check back soon for upcoming episodes discussing training trends in sales and project management, as well as working with an executive recruiter.